Hello everyone and welcome to Mrs. Kennett's Kitchen, and this week we're going to cook apple crumble. The equipment that you're going to need today: one chopping board, one vegetable peeler, one sharp knife, one bowl to mix your crumble in, and finally one oven-proof dish to cook your crumble in. The ingredients that you will need: 2 cooking apples, 100 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of oats, 70 grams of butter, and 60 grams of dark brown sugar, and 1 tablespoon to mix with the apples. And then I'm going to add some cinnamon, but you can also add mixed spice or nutmeg. You could add sultanas and raisins, or any other fruit for your crumble. Right, we're going to start by making the crumble mixture. So we'll put our plain flour in and we'll put our butter in. Okay, and we are going to rub in the fat, which is our butter, into the flour. Okay, so we're going to have to use this technique. Okay, so we're wanting to combine the flour and the butter. So we're moving the butter through our fingers and breaking it up to make nice small breadcrumbs. Okay, making sure that the palms of your hands are really nice and clean and only your fingertips. Okay, because your fingertips will stop the butter from melting. Here we are. Can you see that the butter is incorporated really nicely into the flour? If I keep going and keep rubbing it in, I'm going to end up with shortbread. So I'm going to stop at this point. We've added a little bit more butter because it makes the crumble taste nicer. Now we're going to add in our oats and mix that in. And we're going to add in our brown sugar. But do you remember we're saving a tablespoon? So I'm going to save that much. And I mix it in. You can use white sugar for making crumbles, but I have a thing about brown sugar. There is no calorific difference between brown and white sugar, but brown sugar is less processed and it tastes so much better. And adding the oats makes the crumble taste lovely and fudgy and not as sweet as a normal crumble, so it's really nice. Now I'm going to add my cinnamon. There we are. Right, the crumble mixture is done, so we're ready to prepare our apples, but I need to wash my hands first. Right, now it's time to prepare our apples. So first of all, we're going to take our apple peeler and we're going to peel our apples. We're going to make sure that we're peeling away from ourselves. Like that. Okay, keeping nice and safe, going all the way around. Go. Right, now the apples are peeled, we need to keep our board clean. So put all your rubbish into a little bowl or into my vegetable bin. There we are. Now we're going to prepare our apples. So first of all, we're going to cut them into quarters. Okay, so using our bridge, we're going to cut the apple into quarters. Okay, we're going to put them down onto their side, and again, using our bridge, cutting them into quarters. Okay, now we need to remove the apple core. So there's 2 ways in which we can do this. Okay, the first way is to put our hands on the top of the apple and with the knife at a slight angle, cutting away from ourselves on a diagonal line to remove the core, just like that. Okay, now do you see this little brown bit here? We're just going to cut this off as well. So fingers in our claw, 1, 2, 3, and slicing down. Okay, there we are. So that's our rubbish. Now, the second way you can do this, if you're feeling a little bit nervous, is with your claw fingers, take a nice big slice, okay? Then turn over the apple until you can see the core, and then take another slice, Okay, that will remove the core of the apple, and these are left with your slices. I'll show you that technique again. Right, so again, put your hand on the top and slicing away from you in a diagonal slice, and that is removing your core, okay? Or the other way is to, and there's your core that we want to cut out, take a nice big slice on the top, then turn your apple round until you can see the core there, and then with your fingers take a nice slice and remove that bit, okay? And now we're ready to slice. Look, there's one more bit of brown, so we'll cut that off. Now we're ready to slice our apples. So either with your bridge, if it's thin like this, you can just put the knife in and slide down, okay? Or with your claw, you're just slicing your apple, moving your fingers along, keeping that lead finger in front. Nice and safe, nice and slowly, no rushing. Okay, when you get to the very end, you can put your hand again and do your bridge to cut through. There we are. Right, let's put all the rubbish away. So into a little bowl or into my vegetable bin. Always keep your work surface nice and clean, okay? We're going to put our sliced apples into our oven-proof dish, and we're going to slice up the rest, okay? Can you see the apples are going brown a little bit? That's absolutely fine. It is where the apple is oxidizing with the air. This is why we did the crumble first and the apples last. Okay, making sure you're slicing nice and safely, keeping your fingers behind you with that lead finger in front. There we are. Now we're going to spread the apples out. If you wanted to add blackberries, red currants, raspberries, raisins, sultanas, mixed dried fruit, this is where you would add it, and there is nothing wrong with adding a little bit of frozen fruit. Now we're going to add our little bit of brown sugar. Okay, and give it a mix. The reason we're using brown sugar is because cooking apples are slightly tart, and so you need a little bit of extra sugar because they're a bit tart and a bit sour tasting. If you were doing this with eating apples, I wouldn't add any more sugar. And this is a great time to add your spices. So your little bit of nutmeg or mixed spice or a little bit of cinnamon. Apple and cinnamon go really nicely together. So I've added about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. There we are. Now I'm going to add my crumble mix onto the top. Everyone likes crumble, so it's really nice to have lots of crumble on the top. I'm going to spread it out and I'm going to pat it down. Okay, now it's ready to go into the oven, but before we put it into the oven, we've got to wash our hands again. Right, our apple crumble is ready to go into the oven, but I'm going to put the apple crumble onto a baking tray, because if your dish is full and it bubbles over, you'll have to clean the bottom of the oven. Okay, now we're going to put it into the oven. Okay, so it's in the oven and we can now clean down. It's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to cook. If you were doing a big crumble for everyone and all your family, it would normally take about 30 to 40 minutes to cook. So we must set the timer, keep our eye on the prize, and we'll come back and look at it later. Okay, I think the crumble is ready, so let's take it out and have a look. Remember, this is seriously hot, so we've got our oven gloves and I'm going to put it on the stove top so I don't burn the work surfaces. Okay, this looks absolutely fantastic. This has been in for 30 minutes. So you can see that it's gone lovely and golden, and you can see if I lift this up, oh dear, I don't think this was an oven-proof container.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Okay, so let us cut a little bit out to the other side to show you what it's going to look like. There we are. We've got lovely apples and a nice crunchy topping. I think Tom is going to be my taste tester. Enjoy it, everyone.